That's Peter Barron. Well, with me is Nina Schick, who's a policy analyst at the independent think tank Open Europe. The problem seems to be that Ukraine was given this choice, either go one way or the other. And it couldn't make that choice under Yanukovych. I mean, whatever one thinks of Yanukovych, it couldn't make that choice.
Indeed, and of course many people following the crisis now argue exactly that the Ukraine was faced with a binary choice, so it was put between a rock and a hard place. Now, it's very easy in the media narrative to make this a battle between East and West. However, it's important not to underestimate how important political and economic connections the Ukraine has to Russia. And not only that, but Russia also has very strong economic ties to the EU, which is why perhaps...
Many of them through Ukraine, like the
many
gas
of them
pipeline.
through Ukraine, exactly. Which is why perhaps, even though all the EU leaders came together at an emergency meeting in Brussels yesterday, they stopped short of sanctions, because that would also, of course, also hurt the EU, not only Russia and Ukraine. So as was mentioned in the interview just now, I believe that the only solution to this is to have three-party discussions.
But unfortunately, the irony of that is that's what Putin actually recommended and asked for when, at that point when Yanukovych refused to sign the deal with Europe. Putin then suggested, let's all three sit down and talk about it, and Europe refused.
Well, yes, that is the irony, and I suppose when it comes to Europe, it's always difficult when you have 28 member states with differing opinions, and of course some member states, including Poland and Lithuania, the Baltic states, wanted to take a harder line. Understandably so for historical reasons, whereas countries such as Germany and Italy, which have very strong economic links to Russia, were taking a more dovish approach. So that meant that they couldn't have a united front and perhaps engage in these discussions. And now we've come so far down the lines where these threats of sanctions now have been made. The US has already said that they're targeting individual Russians with visa bans. And so now if the situation doesn't de-escalate, which is the term we've been seeing thrown around in all the media reports, then they will have to follow up on those threats.
Nina Schick, I'm afraid we have to end it there. We're running out of time, but thank you very much for joining us in the Business Edition.